Barbershop Conversation, guys. Feel free, hit the subscribe button. I got my all around strong band on, man. What's up, King? I came from the DMV. Follow him on Instagram, all around strong. Saturday morning, Ritz-Carlton. All right, 8:30 in the morning. Stop fucking texting me and DMing me, emailing me, asking me when and where. 8:30 in the morning, Saturday. All right, at the Ritz-Carlton. It's going to be at a restaurant called Glance. It's downstairs where everything is at. You can't miss it. I'll be there early, and I'm looking forward to meeting y'all, hanging out. We're going to have a great time. Now, I ain't going to lie. I got about 75 DMs yesterday. At least. I mean, I can't even count anymore. Y'all hitting me up on Instagram. No lies. Like 75, 80 DMs, man. Like, I only got 2,000 followers. Like, for real, man. Like, it's just insane. Now, I wasn't there when Radio Raheem was in the room. I went to go interview Tyson Fury because everyone was on Deontay Wilder. So I told myself, I says, I might as well just go and get Tyson Fury because it'll be a little bit easier, less hectic, right? Because everyone wants to get the initial reaction of Deontay Wilder saying 400 years. I know that will go viral. So, but I told myself, let me go get Frank Warren, Steven Espinoza, Tyson Fury. I can get those out the way, and then I can get Deontay Wilder to go into his car or something like that. I'll find a way to get Deontay Wilder. Like he doesn't. All his, you see on the internet, all his interviews are 10 to 15 minutes. So getting him is not that hard. And I'm gonna go into what actually happened from my perspective, and then I'm gonna get into my commentary. So I'm in the room with Tyson Fury, and you guys saw that 15-minute interview I did with Tyson Fury, and someone came in and said, "Damn, Deontay Wilder just went off on Radio Raheem. He basically called him a coon." And I said, what? So I forgot about it. And I parked my car at the Ritz-Carlton, which is about 1 mile from the Western Bonaventure. Because you guys know I hate paying for parking, right? You guys absolutely know. So I parked in the street. I parked in the neighborhood and walked to the Ritz-Carlton, which is about a half a mile. And stop raining. And I walked to the Ritz-Carlton and I Uber pooled. It cost me $3.23 to Uber pool to the Western Bonaventure, right? So I did that. And because I knew I was going to get a ride back. This is all important for you. I'm not filibustering. This is important. And to the story. So I do my job and I see Muhammad. I see Muhammad. I say, Muhammad, can you give me a ride to my car? Because I parked that by the Ritz-Carlton. Sure, no problem. And coincidentally, Radio Raheem needs a ride too. So I walk up to Radio Raheem. I was like, man, I was in the other room, and I'm quoting myself. I was in the other room, and they said Deontay Wilder went off on you, and he basically called you a coon. And obviously, Radio Raheem laughed, ha, 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 ha. I was serious, though. I was serious. I was like, what the fuck happened? He says, basically, he was trying to expand because he said black people aren't the only one to listen to this interview. And I hadn't seen it yet, so I can't rebuttal Radio Raheem. I literally can't rebuttal him. So Radio Raheem puts his headphones on, he sits in the front seat, and I sit in the back seat. And Muhammad takes us, he drops me off, and I guess he drops Radio Raheem off. So, and simultaneously, I'm uploading videos on my phone, so I'm not answering you guys DMs or not listening to DMs. Dude, I get out of the YouTube app, the YouTube Studio app, right? I've been in the YouTube Studio app probably for the past 30, 35 minutes, right? Dude, I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like, I have no idea what's going on. I have no idea. I clicked the first one, Deontay Wilder goes off on Radio Raheem. Deontay Wilder, I'm like, oh shit. And I was out the car in the lobby area of the Ritz-Carlton, charging my phone and uploading video. I'm like, fuck, I had Radio Raheem in the car. I should have watched the video. I didn't know it was just a minute long. I would have actually interviewed him then and there and had my response. Now, with all that being said, I watched the video. I watched Radio Raheem's rebuttal to it, And the reason why I didn't respond yesterday, because I knew I was going to see him 10 o'clock this morning. It's 9:22. I'm on my way there now. So I knew I would see him this morning, and I would say, I would just give a response to that. But I didn't give a response. But I saw his response to Deontay Wilder's lashing out at him, and I said I didn't appreciate that comment. Now, I'm going to be free, because you guys know I love talking about this subject. You guys know both pros and cons of it, right? Radio Raheem is 1,000% wrong. And why I'm so adamant about him being wrong is because his rebuttal to the situation. He left out, remember, his name is Radio Raheem. Radio Raheem doesn't ask a question like that. All right, and when I interview him, when I interview him today, if he allows me to, you guys are going to learn a whole lot more about Radio Raheem. And I say this respectfully, humbly. You guys are going to, because I'm not going to hold back on what I know about Radio Raheem as it relates to the black culture. All right, you guys are going to learn a whole lot that you never knew about Radio Raheem, and I think it's important to this subject. All right. So stand tuned. My interview might be epic if he allows me to interview him. All right. Now, with the name, we just gonna go off Radio Raheem, Do the Right Thing. I grew up on that movie. I'm from New York. I went and visited the pizza shop every time I go to a fight. I go to the pizza shop where they killed Radio Raheem. You understand? You know that's. Like when my uncles were 20 years old, that was their movie. I was 11, 12, and I saw it with my uncles. I saw it with my older cousins. So I wasn't in the right frame of reference, but I remember the movie. I remember the Jordans. I remember all that shit. You know what I mean? The Nikes. I say all that to say this. Radio Raheem is out of line, and he's even more out of line for attempting to do a semantic rebuttal. No, nigga, you got to answer. Deontay Wilder ain't coming from a semantic perspective. That nigga's in a spiritual realm. This nigga is fighting for what we're supposed to be fighting for in the media every day when we're in front of these white people, man. And I'm disappointed. I've been disappointed in Radio Raheem before. Radio Raheem, you guys don't know about this, but it's public now. Radio Raheem and I have had adamant disagreements in private, and it's been ongoing, right? Adamant. Most recently, 3 weeks ago, I literally just walked away from Radio Raheem. I said, Radio Raheem, I'm done. I can't talk to you no more. I just can't. And I'm not going to make a scene with another black man in public. So I always choose the gentleman route and walk away. You guys know me by now. 98% of the time, I will choose the gentleman route and walk away. I'm not perfect, right? So I walked away from Radio Raheem, and that's the last conversation I had with Radio Raheem. It was, and I'll tell you when it was. It was a Tyson Fury media day. Me and Radio Raheem had a 25 minute conversation, and we ended it by me just walking away saying, I can't take this shit no more. I can't. All right, and you guys can read between the lines as you so be it. I'll talk about that after I interview him, so stay tuned. I think this interview is going to be a Hall of Fame interview if Radio Raheem don't pull out. If he don't hit the eject button, because Radio Raheem can play with words too, but that shit ain't going to get over on me. He's not going to get me with syntax. No, he will not get me with that, all right? So he's very clever. He has sharp humor. All that. I understand him a lot when he talks. I know his journalistic style. I get all that. But just being a black man in America, he's 1,000% wrong. There's no rebuttal. His rebuttal should have been, I apologize. He should have saved face. Drop your pride. He basically re-interviewed Deontay Wilder for selfish reasons. He didn't do it for the culture. You guys get what I'm saying? He didn't do it for the culture. We all have egos. I'm not extracting my ego from me doing an interview, me believing that I'm great at what I do, you believing you're great at what you do. I'm not saying that. We all have an ego. We're all human. There comes a moment in your life where you got to say, leave the pride on the other side of the door, walk in and do what's best. And especially when you got a gun in each ear, when a nigga's about to blow your fucking head off. You understand? You guys know where I'm coming from? So from that perspective, I can't co-sign that. I watched that second interview and I can't be as disgusted, obviously, than that minute clip. But just this nigga though, like, how can this nigga look for all intents purposes? How can he look at Malcolm X in the eye and say, "Your people"? That's basically who Deontay Wilder was on that DS yesterday. It's just despicable. It's just disgusting. I don't want to mince my words. I just want to be free, clear, and concise, because this is the way I would talk to Radio Raheem. And no, this is the way I talk to Radio Raheem. All right. And I'm just disgusted. I'm disappointed. I'm really, really disappointed, because in real life, from a pragmatic perspective, he's an ambassador for black men worldwide, because he covers fights in the UK. I have no desire. I can cover fights in the UK. I can afford to cover fights in the UK and go to an Anthony Joshua fight, and assuming they would approve me, right? Assuming Matchroom would approve me. But I have the finances to go to the UK, and I have no desire to do that. So from a fundamentalist perspective, he's an ambassador for black men in boxing. I mean, he's as important as the fighter that goes, because he's more consistent than the fighter, because that fighter only goes once in a lifetime. Radio Raheem goes 5, 6, 7 times a year. So you get what I'm saying? He's important if you think of it in that frame of reference. So I really want to talk to Radio Raheem. If he don't do an interview, I'm going to talk to him. He may not want to do an interview, because people who give interviews don't like to be interviewed. And he knows, he knows me. He knows where I might take the conversation. So he may refuse. And if he refuses, I'm going to come back and give my interpretation of my reality. So, man, it's just, I'm disgusted. I'm disgusted. See, here's the beautiful thing about Deontay Wilder. He took all the bullets for us. He was the first line of infantry. So now in that setting, it's okay to be black. You get what I'm saying? It's okay. Like, it's okay when your father says it's okay to do something, you do it, right? When your father said, go knock out that fucking kid that's been bullying you for 6 months, you build up the courage and you go knock that fucking kid out. You understand what I'm saying? Deontay Wilder stood on the front line and took all them fucking bullets for us. He made it in that setting, that day, that moment, made it acceptable to be a fucking proud black man. All right? And I will forever, ever be a proud black man in this country, because I fucking fully understand. I say this all the time. I fully understand what it takes to make it in this country. I understand. We are all a work in progress. We all are in a different space and a different where we're at in our life currently. We're not where we want to be, where many of us are going in the projection where we're going. Many of us are in a dark place right now, and Deontay Wilder is giving you that light, giving me that light, giving everyone that light. And that's why I want to double back and say this. It's incredulous. It's important that we click that fucking button. All right? We haven't had him since Muhammad Ali. All right? Roy Jones is my favorite fighter of all time. He never spoke like this. Floyd Mayweather, I consider him, you guys saw it in my opening video, Floyd Mayweather considers me family. He's not Deontay Wilder. All right? All right? When it's all said and done, when I get 70 years old, I'm going to tell all these stories. Not from a negative perspective, but I'm not done. I'm just getting started. I'm 10 years in the game. I'm just getting started. So from that perspective, I don't have that many stories yet. But when I get 70 and my son wants to know these stories, and YouTube will still be thriving, I can tell you guys all these stories that never been told. You know what I mean? And I think it's important And no matter how, and no, let me stay on this real quick. I don't care what you're going through right now in terms of your struggle. And I don't care what you're going through. I don't care. I personally don't care. That's not important to me. If you can afford to assemble a team to buy this pay-per-view, or you can afford to buy it yourself, buy the pay-per-view. All right, I'm not talking to my kings and queens that's got to put food on the table for themselves and their kids, and maybe they have an alien grandmother, grandfather, mother. I'm not talking to you. All right, I understand. I've been poor. I've been on food stamps. I've been on welfare. I get all that shit. If you didn't feel, y'all not gonna get me emotional on this motherfucker, but if you didn't feel when Deontay Wilder said, my people been fighting for 400 years, you should never ever come to my channel again. It's no reason for you to come, because Deontay Wilder summarized my platform in one sentence. All right, and that's just simply what I genuinely feel and believe. Don't you know, in the media circles, they call me Farrakhan, Ali. Oh, all he cares about is black people. In my gym 3 weeks ago, in my gym 2 or 3 weeks ago, someone in the gym asked me, says, Fred, do you only talk about black people on your channel? I said, I prefer to. I prefer to. You know what I mean? I don't discriminate. I prefer. There's a difference. I don't discriminate against Mikey Garcia. I prefer to tell a story about the Charlos, Jared Hurd, etc., Deontay Wilder, then to tell the story about what's going on in the Robert Garcia gym. I have an all-access pass to go to Robert Garcia's gym. All access. I can go anytime I want. I don't even have to call Robert Garcia to tell him I'm coming. If I knock on the door and I know the hours, I get invited in. I'm not saying I don't desire to do it. I prefer to sit at home and tell stories and make correlations to our struggle and to sports. Correlate the two. I'd rather do that. So I repeat it again. If you can afford to purchase that pay-per-view tomorrow, I know the pragmatic people, I'm very pragmatic. I fully understand. It goes to the cable distributor. It goes to Showtime. A piece goes to Tyson Fury and a piece goes to Wilder's team. I understand all that. I get all that. The bottom line, success or failure, it's a representation of Deontay Wilder. And it's a representation of how black are you really? Is your dollars really black? Do you love the culture as much as you say you do? You understand what I'm saying? Everyone has their struggles. Everyone goes in a different route going to the same destination. Right? I get it. I understand. My journey is not the same as you, but Saturday night, we need to be unified the same way. The very same way. The very, very same way. I'm going to say it again. The very, very same way we carried Deontay Wilder out of that 7th round against Luis Ortiz is the same way we need to carry this pay-per-view. It's just what I believe. I don't need to pay for a pay-per-view. I don't ever need to pay for a pay-per-view. Between me covering fights and between the 10 people that invites me to a fight party because they think I'm like a guru, and because in media, everyone wants to watch the fight with me. If you have a YouTube channel, you know exactly what the fuck I'm talking about. Or if you're in the media, you know exactly the climb in which I'm talking about. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? And I always oblige. If someone invites me to a fight party, some pay-per-views I don't buy. I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to lie to you and say, oh, I'm the guy that purchases. No, I don't do that at all. I'm being real. The same way I'm going to fly to Dallas and then TiVo it at home is the same way I'm going to work this fight and TiVo the shit at home. As soon as I park my car, unlock my door, I'm going to fall asleep because it's going to be late. I'm partying that night. I'm just being real with it. I don't drink or smoke. You guys know that. But I'm partying Saturday night. By hook or crook, I'm fucking partying. It's gonna be a fucking party Saturday night. In addition to all that, when I get home, I'm gonna fall asleep on the couch watching that pay-per-view. Wake up Sunday morning and say, oh shit, it's round 4. I gotta go back to round 4 and watch that shit again. Y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. Because remember when we was a kid, HBO replay came on at 9 o'clock if we missed the 10 o'clock show, especially on the East Coast, right? You guys know exactly what the fuck I'm talking about. So I said all that to say is I genuinely have a great deal of love for my culture. You understand? I just think it's just really, really important that we honor this man. Like, the one thing I know, I'm not an expert on being a black woman. I'm not an expert on being an Asian woman, a white man, a Mexican man. I'm only an expert on being a black man in America. That's it. No more, no less. And that's what I proclaim to be. Right? That's it. That's it. And I know people disagree with me from a fundamental standpoint because I have mixed kids. I 1000% get that. But my only rebuttal to that, because I can't rebuttal your disposition on that, the only thing I ask is that you at least match me in my fight to make this world a better place for my men of color. That's all I ask. I respect the fact that you disagree with me on that. I'm 1000%. I'm gonna ride with that to the day I die. I'm not angry. I'm not upset about it. And I say that because that's important to this message, because I know some people look at me sideways, and I get all of that. I'm not offended by it. I humbly accept how you feel about it. Moving forward, click that fucking button Saturday night. Matter of fact, click it now after you finish this video. Alright? And if you don't have the funds and you want to pitch in, all you got to do is hashtag Deontay Wilder Tyson Fury. Put out a message on your social medias, your Twitter, and see who's watching the fight in your area, and say you got 10 on it, you got 5 on it. Nigga, you can buy a bag of weed and fucking buy some brown. You gonna trick it off on a bitch next Saturday, ain't gonna give you no pussy. I really ran the streets, so I know I didn't sell no drugs, but I really ran the streets. I chased hoes. I spent money on girls I tried to convince, knowing I had a 1% chance to get the pussy. Well, you got a 100% chance to support a motherfucker that believes in you and doesn't even know you. His name is Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder. Alright? And I want to upload this video before I get there. I'm about 14 minutes away from the where am I going? To the Bonaventure. So anyways, man, I love and salute y'all. We gonna keep on fighting. We ain't stopping. I'm riding this shit till the wheels fall off. You know what I mean? I'm just being 100. You know what I mean? Ain't gonna be no crying at my funeral. It's gonna be a whole lot of proud people, because I'm doing this shit my way. For real. And once you get into that space, I think is essential. I listen to Trill Boxing Talk. I'm about to listen to y'all videos in a second. I went in and out of it. I was very proud of how they spoke. I'm really interested to listen to everyone else's videos today. But God said you either for me or against me. You either say the name Jesus or you say the name Satan. That's it. Somewhere in America, it's a white man running in the rain in shorts. I just drove by one. I ran in the rain this morning too, but god damn, niggas be running in shorts and t-shirts. So I salute y'all, man. I gotta return this call. I had my first parent-teacher conference today at 9 o'clock. That's why I didn't get down here sooner. I'm happy for Lincoln. And the funny thing is, Dre is Dre's a doctor, right? So she's very by the books. You do things right, you do things wrong. Me, I created my revenue. So I'm like, how's Lincoln socially? He's great socially. That's all I give a fuck about. I can give a shit if the nigga know his ABCs. He knows his ABCs. He can count to 40 and all that. She told us today, and whatever the case may be. But I'm like, how is he socially? That's what I care about. Dre was like, can we get a copy of this so we can work on this with him at home? All my fathers understand, because we get it any way we can get it. All my entrepreneurs out there, all my niggas that did time, you know what I mean, that had to go out and be entrepreneurs, y'all know exactly what the fuck I'm talking about. You know what I mean? The niggas doing better than me. That's all I'm saying. Anyways, man, I love being a father. You know what I mean? I absolutely love it, man. I fucking love it. I got 2 beautiful kids, man. And that's why I support a man like Deontay Wilder. You know, he's a great example of what a black man should be when in the face of white supremacy. I'm going, man. I got to upload this video. I love y'all. I'm about to get going. And, you know, Deontay Wilder said the same thing I've been saying. About to get an accident. It's been saying the same thing I've been saying for months on my YouTube channel, is we got to start using the word love a whole lot more. You know what I mean? He says, I love using the word love. You know, and oh shit, his axle went out. Damn. His axle went out in the rain. He is So, and it's raining hard too. You guys can probably see it, man. But anyways, man, I love and salute y'all. Let's use the word. Let's use the word love. Let's start with this weekend. All right. Go to your neighborhood store. Everyone goes to the liquor store on the corner. Ask them, are you watching the Deontay Wilder fight? They may not watch it this time, but next time they might. You know what I mean? All my queens out there, you going to the nail salon this weekend? Get dressed up for Deontay Wilder. Put your nails on. Put your matching set on. Make sure your carpet matches the drapes this weekend. You know what I'm saying? Be fly. Be sexy. Be fierce. You know what I mean? And walk around that motherfucker proud. You know what I mean? Walk around proud. Whatever your king wants you to cook for him, cook it for him. You know what I mean? Whatever your queen wants you to do for her this weekend. We proud. We proud black people this weekend, man. You know what I mean? And it's just a fucking 27-minute video. I'm gone. Barbershop Conversations, man. Feel free to hit the subscribe button. Y'all know where my heart is. I'll holla. Peace.